Hello, this is Jeff from Baron Leathercraft. Thanks for clicking on this video. Today we are going to be testing out the Sculpfun H5 Gen 2 Honeycomb exhaust platform. First off, let's talk about what this thing claims to do. It's supposed to help you get cleaner cuts by pulling smoke away from your material, reducing scorching and burn marks. So materials like leather, wood, and acrylic should come out with smoother edges and less of that yellow tint you get from smoke. We'll see how true this is once we run a test and do a few cuts. Now let's talk about the exhaust fan. It's mounted underneath the Honeycomb and is rated at 6,000 RPM. According to the specs, it's supposed to pull smoke down through the Honeycomb as you cut. Now whether or not it actually clears things up and helps your cuts come out cleaner, that's what I'm going to test in this video. And finally, let's talk about the size. The outer frame of the H5 Gen 2 is 650 by 650 millimeters, and the working area of the Honeycomb is 400 by 400 millimeters. To put that to the test, I'm using my largest laser, the Algo Laser Delta. It has a total length of about 680.72 millimeters, and the distance between the two front legs is 600 millimeters, measured right at the base. It just barely fits. So if your machine has a similar footprint, you'll be right on the edge, but it will sit on the platform without hanging off. Alright, let's go ahead and do a quick unboxing and build. I just want to point out how simple this thing was to put together. This isn't one of those long, complicated builds. It's really just a matter of a few screws and snapping a square frame together for the most part, plus installing the fan. It does come with instructions, and they're actually pretty decent, but honestly, you probably won't even need them. Just keep in mind there are 4 screws that go in underneath the frame. Don't miss those. Alright, 2 screws in each corner. When you assemble the fan, just make sure you have everything in the proper order. It's very simple. Snake the cord through the back. Go ahead and remember to put those 4 screws that are on the inside, that are in the corners. I already have an exhaust system that leads out the window, so I just went ahead and put the pipe directly into that. I plugged the fan in, put it in the socket. I removed the protective layer off of the aluminum, placed it down on the bed. I went ahead and put the honeycomb bed into its slot, and then I grabbed my laser and put it on top of the new vacuum honeycomb bed. Alright, let's go ahead and run a test. On the left side, I'm using a standard honeycomb bed with no airflow system, just air assist. It's just a honeycomb sitting directly on the surface, so there's barely any space underneath, only the thickness of the honeycomb bed itself. On the right side, I'm using the Sculpfun H5 Gen 2 vacuum platform. The Sculpfun honeycomb is designed to sit suspended on small interior lips inside the frame, which creates a large opening space underneath. That extra depth, combined with the built-in suction, helps keep smoke away from the material while you're cutting or engraving. And you can see the difference pretty clearly here. There's a lot more smoke lingering on the left side without the vacuum. On the right side, the smoke gets pulled down and away almost immediately. It's not just about suction, it's also about having space below the material for the smoke to escape into it. To really test it, I even ran 2 passes, one more than necessary, trying to exaggerate the effect. I probably should have slowed the machine down too, just to push it harder. But even then, the Sculpfun setup kept things much cleaner. So overall, the design does what it's supposed to do, physically separates the smoke from the material and clears it out quickly. Alright, here's a side-by-side look at the underside of the 2 wood cuts. I flipped them over after cutting to show the difference in smoke and burn marks. The one on the left was done without the Sculpfun exhaust platform, and you can see those darker patches where the smoke had nowhere to go. The one on the right was cut with the platform running, and while it's not a night and day difference, it's definitely cleaner, less standing, and a little less buildup around the cut lines. So yeah, it's doing something. Okay, we're doing the same test here with leather now that we did with the wood. As you see on the left hand side, you see lots of smoke coming out. And on the right hand side, with the vacuum on, you'll see very little smoke, if any. So once again, you can see it's definitely drawing the smoke. Plus, I love how that blue light flickers like that because there's so much space underneath the honeycomb bed. Here's the same test, but this time with leather. I flip both pieces over so you can see the back side where the smoke usually leaves the most marks. On the left, that's without the Sculpfun exhaust platform. You can see some heavier smoke staining and darker patches. On the right, with the platform running, the marks are noticeably lighter and more even. It's not a total game changer, but for leather especially, it does help tone down the mess on the backside. So to wrap this up, I can say the Sculptfun exhaust platform definitely works. It pulls smoke away from the material and helps keep things cleaner, especially on the underside. Now, whether that difference is big enough to justify the price, that really depends on what you're after. If you're the kind of person who's chasing cleaner cuts and a tidier workspace, then yeah, you'll probably notice the improvement. I can only speak from my own experience here, and for me personally, I've decided to keep it set up in my shop. It's simple, effective, and it does help reduce smoke buildup around the cuts. So if that's something you've been wanting to improve in your setup, it might be worth a look. Thanks again, you guys. Appreciate it. I hope this video helped you in any way. Once again, stay good to each other. Peace. Take care.